Criminal Enigma Stories, Ann Marie Burr, Ted Bundy, Serial Killer Unsolved. On a warm autumn evening in 1961, 8-year-old Ann Marie Burr went to bed with her younger sibling. Several hours later, she woke to tell her mother that her sibling was crying, and both children were settled back to sleep. It was the last time her parents saw her. At some point in the night, Ann Marie Burr vanished. It seemed someone had entered the Burr home and snatched Ann Marie from her bed. The police investigation saw several suspects questioned, but none were arrested. The prime suspect in her disappearance is the notorious serial killer Ted Bundy. Ann Marie Burr was born in Del Norte County, California, on December 14, 1952. She was the eldest of 4 children in a Catholic family. By the early 1960s, the Burr family lived in the North End neighborhood of Tacoma, Washington. Beverly Burr, Ann's mother, regretted teaching her children that the world was a good and safe place. She believed Ann was so trusting and suggested that her abductor might have been someone she knew. On the evening of August 30, 1961, Ann Marie had dinner at a nearby friend's house and was put to bed by her parents around 8 p.m. At some point during the night, Ann Marie woke her parents to complain about her sister's crying, and both children went back to sleep. Ann Marie's younger sister had a broken arm, which their mother had to soothe back to sleep. Beverly Burr could not recall the exact time Ann Marie woke her parents, but it was before 5 a.m. At approximately 5:30 a.m., Beverly discovered Ann Marie was missing. The Burr family found the front door slightly ajar and a small window in the living room open. There was grass from the front lawn inside the house. An overturned bench outside suggested someone had entered through the open window. When law enforcement arrived, they found a faint footprint near the overturned bench, indicating an intruder entered through the living room window. None of Ann Marie's clothing or personal effects were missing, except for her blue nightgown and a chain necklace. A search party of 100 soldiers and 50 National Guard members aided local police in searching for Ann Marie. Over 75 square blocks were searched, including residential and woodland areas, without finding any trace of her. The FBI only got involved on a standby basis. One neighbor reported hearing screaming from a vehicle with California license plates on the morning Ann Marie went missing. The driver was found, and the noise was determined to have come from the radio, not actual screams. Suspicion initially fell on Ann Marie's parents, but both voluntarily took polygraph examinations on September 8, 1961. And were found to be truthful. A reward was offered for information leading to Ann Marie's discovery, and police started looking at potential suspects. Over 1,500 people were interviewed within the first 12 days of Ann Marie's disappearance. A teenage neighbor initially failed a polygraph test, but later passed another. Police also questioned local sex offenders recently released from prison. In June 1962, a report from Canada suggested a girl resembling Ann Marie was seen with a couple. The sighting was investigated, but it led nowhere. Another suspect, an ex-Marine, was questioned, but no evidence linking him to Ann Marie was found. Ted Bundy, a high-profile suspect, mentioned a story about killing a young girl in an orchard. His proximity to the Burr home and his paper route led detectives to consider him a plausible suspect. However, Bundy denied involvement in Ann Marie's disappearance. Bundy's letters to Beverly Burr did not provide any closure. He maintained he had nothing to do with Ann Marie's disappearance. Despite his denials, Bundy hinted at other murders he would never discuss, possibly linked to his early years. Ann Marie's parents believe she was buried on the University of Puget Sound campus, where construction was underway in 1961. Bundy was executed in 1989 without ever admitting to Ann Marie's murder. The case remains unsolved, leaving many questions unanswered.